Oh, hi there. I'm Ensign Bob. Pull up a chair and let's talk about the use of certain narrative techniques in STP. So, 8 of STP's 10 episodes, all but the last 2, open with either a flashback or a dream sequence. These scenes, while theoretically entertaining in themselves, are mainly there to provide us, the audience, with background information the writers want us to have, when they want us to have it. Sounds perfectly reasonable, doesn't it? Except they're actually detrimental to the story, and a sign of how weak that story actually is. Now, don't get me wrong, flashbacks and dream sequences can be used to great effect, as in, to give a random example, Sully, a film which probably wouldn't have worked had it depicted events in strict chronological order, because we pretty much already know what went down, no pun intended. But here there are far too many of them, and they keep taking us away from what's happening now. Or rather, what's not happening, since so much of STP consists of people just sitting around discussing the plot or their feelings or both, with those constant excruciating pauses. And yes, of course, TNG was very talky too, but there's talking and talking. In TNG, the dialogue flowed naturally and was used to explore issues, deepen characterization, and chart characters' progression from one point of view or approach to another. It advanced the story because it was the story. In STP, dialogue is just a long, drawn-out filler between equally boring action scenes. Anyway, so you have all this stuff going on in the past, and in the dream world, contrasted with not a lot going on in the actual present. Which means you can't help wondering, why set the story in this time period at all? It seems like all the important, dramatic events occurred 14 years ago. And there's no answer to that. Clearly there isn't enough meat on the bones of STP's main narrative, so the writers, one uses the term loosely, should have thrown out everything and started again from scratch. Or better yet, owned up to their complete lack of ability and quit. Instead, they padded shamelessly, and those 8 opening scenes are part of that padding. Moreover, while said scenes do provide us with some useful background information, in the case of this story, terrible though it is, the better, far neater option would have been to impart it organically, in the story. For viewers to learn what's what by spending time in the world with the characters, as opposed to being subjected to a series of disconnected primers. But that would have required the writers to do some actual work, so they applied their quick, messy fixes and left it at that. Another prune juice?